Hello, it's Simon Zutshi here, and in this week's video I'd like to talk to you about minimizing your risk of investing through diversification. Now, we all know diversification is a good idea, but how do you actually do it in practice? So there are three main asset classes which you can invest in. Obviously there's property, there's business, and there's the stock market. Now, I've done all three, I've made money in all three, I've lost money in all three. I personally favor property for various reasons. However, a while ago, my financial advisor said, Simon, you've got too much property, you should diversify into other asset classes. Now, I think it's very important that when people think about diversification, they sometimes flit around from shiny penny to shiny penny and never actually master anything. So it's really important to find whatever channel resonates best with you and do that first, and once you've mastered that, then move on to other channels. So in property, a great way to diversify, let's say you're doing HMOs, houses of multiple occupation. Well, rather than having them all in one area for one type of tenant, you could, for example, get one next to university for students, you could get one in a different area of the city or a different city completely for young professionals to spread your risk. I get sometimes concerned when I see people who have their entire portfolio in serviced accommodation. Now, I think serviced accommodation can be a fantastic strategy. However, it's very unregulated, unlike HMOs, which are highly regulated. And the risk is that at some point, some regulation is going to come in for serviced accommodation, and I worry that some people's businesses might be completely wiped out. So it's really important for those people to diversify. Now, actually, when I first started investing in property in 1995, I really didn't know what I was doing. I kind of did okay, I made lots of mistakes, and by 2001, I was able to leave my full-time job at Cadbury's. Now, around that time, I got interested in other wealth creation strategies, and I started to invest in the stock market. I went on a number of training courses, I started to get quite good, I made some money, I lost some money, but overall, I was up on my stock market investing. The only problem was, I realised that actually I was taking a long time sitting in front of a computer to find the right shares and then investing and then working out the best time to sell them. Comparing that to the time I put into my property, which was time up front, then I gave it to someone else to manage, it was very, very passive. So I realised that actually I didn't really want to spend all that time in front of a computer, wasn't giving me the freedom I wanted, and so I switched just to investing in property. Now, that was fine, I've done very well from property, but as I said, my IFA said, look, I'm a bit too heavily exposed in that area. Now, the other thing you can do is you can invest in businesses. I've set up my trainee business. When I did it at first, I didn't really need to make any money from it because I had so much income coming from my property that was enough to support me. But as my business has grown, obviously it now makes really good income because we get great results for our students. Also, you can also invest in other businesses. So the problem with my training business is I'm very heavily involved in it. Now, that's okay because I love to do it, it's my passion. However, my next business I set up was crowd property. The whole idea was to grow a great business that wasn't reliant upon me to get a truly passive income stream coming in. Now, the other thing is, if you want to start businesses, a lot of people try and do it on a shoestring. There's a great incentive from the UK government called Enterprise Investment Scheme and Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme, where you can raise money so you can sell shares in your business to bring some money in to help you quickly grow your business. That's exactly what we did with crowd property. When we started it, I came up with the idea that there are developers who need money for their developments and struggling to get money from banks who don't really understand property. And there are people who've got money in their bank, again, not achieving much return. So I thought, when I put the two together, I come up with a platform that creates a solution that's fully FCA regulated, takes care of all the paperwork and admin, and makes it very easy for both parties. So we did that. We valued the business at £1 million just on an idea, and we raised £150,000 through a seed EI investment. Now, the reason people invested was they thought it was a good idea, but also it's a very tax efficient way for people to invest. Particularly as a property investor, if you have capital gains and you're making money through income tax, well, what that means is that actually you could minimise your tax by investing in companies with EIS and CIS investments. So you should really think about that if you've got lots of money you're making within your properties. We actually then raised further sums of money to further grow crowd property. We did it on a Cedars, which is a fundraising platform, and we raised a lot of money, which we used to grow the business. And the last valuation of the business was 15.7 million. So I'm not saying to impress you, but I'm to impress upon you. I have very little to do with that company now. I just set it up, and it's running very well, and all the shareholders have done very, very well from it on paper. So think about that. when you want to get other income streams, you don't necessarily have to set up your own business. You can actually invest in other people's. And finally, I've done that in another business. So one of my students, Jeremy Downing, he's a real expert in the stock market. He's been doing it for over a decade. And he has a strategy he teaches where basically you can invest in the stock market in just 5 minutes a day. So you don't have to sit in front of a computer, and yet you can earn between 12 and 18% return per annum. And it's a pretty low risk strategy. There's always risk with any investment you make, but it's pretty low risk. So what that means is you don't have to spend a huge amount of time doing it. So it complements property investing very well. Now, when I first heard this, I was a bit skeptical, I must admit, but I checked it out. I've had the training from Jeremy, so my students have also been trained by him, and it absolutely works. And I liked it so much, as Victor Khayyam said about Remington Shavers, I liked it so much, I bought the business. So we've now incorporated that training business into my training business. I don't want to train stock market, that's not my speciality, but Jeremy's the expert and he's now training that for our students. And if you'd like to learn a little bit about that strategy, how you can invest in the stock market in just 5 minutes a day or less, and make between 12 to 18% return per annum, well, click on the link below here. There's a link to a website called jeremymethod.com, and on that you can get some free training to find out about Jeremy's strategy. It's very powerful. So I do hope this video has been useful. It's really important to make sure you diversify your investments, make sure you focus on one, master one, get that make you money before you go on to something else to avoid the shiny penny syndrome. So that's all for me. As usual, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. Thank you very much.